Now, it's no secret that gaming on a Mac computer satisfies a relatively niche market. Sure, they're great production machines, but the reality is that games aren't designed or are poorly optimized to run on Mac hardware and software. Additionally, Apple's recent transition to proprietary silicon technology furthers the relationship between conventional gaming requirements, meaning that even those games that were supported are now incompatible. But what about those big AAA titles that seem to have appeared on every other device except Macs? Is there a way to natively access and play Skyrim on a 2015 MacBook Air? How about maxing out the settings on The Witcher 3 on a 2012 Mac Pro? Both those games appeared on this generation's weakest console, the Nintendo Switch, and although I have a lot of admiration for the system, it has me wondering why more powerful hardware hasn't seen the same treatment. Now, I believe I've found a solution enabling me to install and run some of my favourite PC games directly from my Mac operating system, without any virtualization software or requiring a separate Windows partition through Boot Camp. Today I'm going to show you how you can get The Witcher 3 running on your Mac without any additional cost over the purchase of the game itself. With WitcherCon wrapped up for 2021, with the announcement of next generation updates on the way, Cyberpunk, it's the perfect time to slay monsters, court women, and explore one of this decade's most engrossing worlds. Alright, so to get this running, you're going to need, firstly, a MacBook running Mojave or upwards. I have previously tried installing The Witcher 3 on a machine running High Sierra, and although it successfully installs, the game boots to a blank screen. I'll be using my 2014 MacBook Pro, which is sporting a 2.8 GHz Intel Core i5 processor running Big Sur. You will also need a copy of The Witcher 3, preferably through Good Old Games, as that will be the method of install I will be using. I will be using the base version of the game, which you can regularly find on sale through Good Old Games. Lastly, and most importantly, you'll need the porting kit for Mac. This is the software that we will be using to run The Witcher 3 on our Mac. Porting Kit is a free piece of software that enables selected programs designed for PC to be converted and understood by Mac commands. This also means that your entire machine can be used by the porting kit, so if you're running a Mac with a dedicated or external GPU, it should be recognised without issue. If you're confused, unsure, or doubting this process, don't worry, I thought the same thing when I came across this method myself. Luckily for you, I've mapped out the process, so make sure you stick around so you too can toss a coin to your very own Witcher 3 Mac Edition. Firstly, we are going to obtain our copy of The Witcher 3 from Good Old Games. As mentioned, you will need a PC version of The Witcher 3, with the preferred source being through Good Old Games. There is a link in the description to the Witcher 3 store page below. The reason for this preference is the ability to download the offline backup files for the game direct to your device, proving to be the easiest way for the porting kit to recognise and install the game. Once you have purchased The Witcher 3 on your Good Old Game account, navigate to your games library and select The Witcher 3. Being a PC-only title, there won't be an option to open the game through your Mac. Instead of using Good Old Games Galaxy, continue to scroll down to the section labelled Download Offline Backup Game Installers. As of this recording, there are currently 9 files to download. Once everything has been downloaded, you should have 2 .exe files and 7 .bin files. Don't worry if your icons look slightly different than mine, what's important is that you have these files all together. If you're missing any, the installation simply won't work. Next, go ahead and pick a location where you would like to store these files. Personally, I made a Witcher 3 installation folder in my documents, but you can put them elsewhere. Now, oddly, in testing installation for the video, I encountered an error when attempting to install the files from my downloads folder, so again, I would recommend something like I did, as it seemed to rectify the issue and install without a problem. Now that our installation files are ready, we can head over to the porting kit website and download the last piece of software. I've left a link in the description below you can follow to access the website and download the DMG file. Porting Kit behaves like any other piece of Mac software, and for best results it is recommended to add it to your applications folder. Once the installation process is complete, open up the Porting Kit and navigate to the library page. You will see an alphabetized list of games and applications that have been successfully ported through the Porting Kit. Please keep in mind that these are not the games themselves, but the means to convert them to be used on a Mac should you have the installation files yourself or the right to access them. As we covered in the previous step, we have bought a copy of The Witcher 3 and have the installation files stored locally on our Mac. Using the search tool, select The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt to visit the porting kit page. This will provide you with the means to install the game, along with instructions and special notes. In the instance of The Witcher 3, it is recommended that only medium to high level Macs can run The Witcher 3, but my 2014 MacBook is a sucker for punishment. Now we are in the home stretch. Thanks to the porting kit, it is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting in making The Witcher 3 playable on Mac. When you're ready, hit install to begin the installation process. The installation guide is going to prompt you to complete actions we've already covered, largely being around already having the necessary files to complete the installation. Make sure you are comfortable with the terms and conditions, and finally confirm once again that you have the .exe and .bin files ready for the porting kit to access. The most important part of this process is providing the porting kit with the correct file path to run the installation setup. Hit Select Installer and a new window will appear. You will need to navigate to the location where you chose to store your downloaded Witcher 3 files. In my case, it was My Documents, Games, and Witcher 3 install files. The file you want to select will begin with the title, Setup, and be one of the exe files. Be sure to select the right file, as the other .exe file is a patch we will apply after the initial installation. Now you can sit back for a minute and let the installer run its course. Now for your sanity, I'm going to speed up this part of the video for you. And if you have done the process correctly, you will soon be prompted to select your language in a window suspiciously similar to how Microsoft Windows appear. You are now officially inside the .exe install file within your Mac, and you can complete the Witcher 3 installation. Agree to the terms and conditions and select Install. A new installation window will appear. Now go have a cup of tea, as this installation will take a while. You may also see some Windows-centric programs run through their own independent installation. This is normal behaviour and should not affect the overall success of installing The Witcher 3. Once the installer advises you The Witcher 3 was successfully installed, it is important not to hit launch. Instead, hit cancel and return to the porting kit installation guide and await for it to complete the process. Once complete, visit your application folder and you will find The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt installed like any other Mac application. You can launch it direct from your application folder. I will note that depending on your system, launching a game like The Witcher can take some time. On my 2014 MacBook, I can wait anywhere up to 30 seconds before the application begins. And here we are, ready to jump into the world of The Witcher 3 from the comfort of our Mac computer. This last step is optional but recommended, and that is to update the game to the latest version as of this recording. We'll need to jump back into the porting kit and apply the update file. When inside your Witcher 3 application in the porting kit, select More and a drop-down menu should appear. Hover over Advanced Tools to bring up the next menu and select Install Patch Mod. You'll be prompted to select your patch file to apply. This file will be the remaining .exe file from your Witcher 3 installation files downloaded earlier. The file will begin with the title Setup and end with 1.32. Another installation process will initiate very similarly to the previous one, but as this is only a few gigabytes in size, it should not take too long to complete. Note that it is common to incur an error at the end of the patch update, but as far as I can tell, it has no bearing on the overall game, and appears to be a script error related to connecting to the Good Old Games store. Hit exit, and when you are ready, you can relaunch The Witcher 3. Now back in the main game, we can see the version has been correctly updated to 1.32. You can now go ahead and enjoy the entirety of The Witcher 3 on your Mac. As this is also technically a PC game, you can also apply mods to the game, which I can explain how to do and what some of my favourite mods are in another video. I hope you found this guide useful, and if there are any other games you would like to see playable on your Mac, let me know and I will create an installation guide for it as well. But for now, it's time to sit back and play some Witcher 3.